This is episode 2 now with a review of SmackDown Live for May 29th, 2018. Tonight's show, I have to say, was a lot better than Raw. Now, in my review yesterday, I said I liked Raw a lot, but looking back and thinking about it, I'm like, Raw wasn't really all that great. I was really tired. Memorial Day, I work at a restaurant, so, we were so busy. Everybody's coming home to eat, and just terrible night. So, anything was better. But, honestly, tonight I could say I really enjoyed SmackDown. I thought it was really pretty good, So, let's get into it with the first segment, which was a Samoa Joe promo. He comes out and he's looking all jacked and awesome, and he's great. Just so much intensity, and the guy's like, "Oh, I guess we're getting our main event right now or something." But no, he just goes right under the ring, pulls up a ladder, and climbs it, goes up to the top, and gets a briefcase. Hold on. My dog, he wants to come on. Right. Oh. Come on. There you go. Oh, man. Sorry, headphone people. Okay, so he grabs the briefcase, and he basically cuts this promo all about how he's gonna win Money in the Bank. He's gonna beat up Daniel Bryan tonight, and Brie is gonna have to explain to Birdie that why her father is just a mess right after meeting Samoa Joe. And I'm like, wow, what an intense promo. He said he's gonna hurt his tree hugging ass, basically. Called him a tree hugger, which I thought was funny. And I think it was probably the best promo of this entire week. Usually Samoa Joe is the best promo of the week. I mean, that dude is so good at his promos. I don't think anybody else is as good as him. There's nobody better than him in wrestling, I think. I'm not just talking about WWE or WWE and NXT. I'm talking about when you include Impact, you include Ring of Honor, you include just any promotion. I think Samoa Joe is probably the best promo. He's just so good at his job, and I'm so happy he's being put in a great program. Next, Daniel Bryan comes out in the promo and interrupts him, and he says that he crossed the line for basically saying that about his family. So he's going to break Samoa Joe's leg and make him tap out. And next up is Cass. He comes out to interrupt, and he calls Daniel Bryan the shrimp and Samoa Joe the blimp, which I'm like, that's a kind of clever line, I guess. Not really. I don't know. I'm just tired of Big Cass and the Daniel Bryan thing. So he calls them children for arguing all this crap. And he says Daniel Bryan cost him his opportunity, so he's really mad. And that Paige said that he will get the opportunity because Daniel Bryan costed him when he gets cleared. And Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan will not happen. And when they asked, he's like, well, I know what you're asking. When am I going to be cleared? He's like, well, I already am. He picks up that crutch, just smacks Samoa Joe with it, and beats up Daniel Bryan. They're both, laid out. It's just crazy. And Big Cass stands tall with the briefcase. And I'm like, he doesn't look bad with the briefcase. And I have to say, Big Cass, that selling he did, that was really good. I'm not just talking about tonight. I'm talking about this whole couple weeks. I don't know if he actually injured himself, but man, he really did a great job convincing everybody that he's not cleared and he might be on the shelf for another couple months. He even got me a bit. I was like, all right, I guess Big Cass is injured or something, but no, I guess he's fine. So I'm happy to see that he's okay. I didn't want to, have him be out again. Even though I'm not a big fan of his wrestling, I think just he deserves to be on the roster. he's fine as a performer. I think like his promos are good. It's just sometimes his wrestling leaves some to be desired. So I'm a little disappointed we're not going to get Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe tonight, but I guess we can't be spoiled with two big matches like that in one night. In 2 weeks. Like we had Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy last week, and then Samoa Joe and Jeff and Daniel Bryan this week. Sorry. Next, Paige is backstage. Absolution confronts her, and she talks about how they're talking about, oh, you're being unfair, blah blah blah, and Paige is just like, yeah, okay, well, why am I being unfair? So they're basically saying like, well, because Asuka's getting all these opportunity at the women's championship, and she lost to Charlotte, and she lost her first match on SmackDown and hasn't been doing good, which I'm like, well, great. That's a good point. Now Asuka's starting to seem a little weak right now, which, man, I'm not happy about that. So Paige ends up booking Mandy Rose versus Asuka for the night, and then she just walks away, and Renee Young catches up to her about the Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan thing, and she says, well, I talked to Big Cass, but he shouldn't have spoken for me, so now tonight's going to be a triple threat match between the three of them, which I was like, all right, I'm cool with that. I guess you could have Joe and Daniel, and then Daniel's match, one-on-one beat later on down the line, like probably when Joe or Daniel is champion, one of them challenges the other. I think that feud will be amazing when it happens, and I am a little happy they are kind of saving it a bit, because it really makes me looking forward to it, to see it on a pay-per-view. It's probably gonna be great. I'd say SummerSlam, do it for SummerSlam or Royal Rumble. Like, it's a pretty high caliber match, I'd say. Next, we get Ty Dillinger versus Nakamura, and Shinsuke's entrance is awesome. Like, I never, since I started this channel this week, I didn't have my opinion on Nakamura's entrance, so yeah, here it is now. It's just awesome. I love the theme song. I love that they put the Japanese rapper in there, and it's so cool. I think it's way better than the theme he came in WWE with, because that theme was one of my favorites. Now this is like, I think even better than that. It's really good. And I love Nakamura's confident heel attitude right now, where he's just, dancing around the ring like, yeah, I'm the best. I know I'm the best. So it starts out with a bit of a back and forth battle between him and Ty, and momentum shifts when Nakamura rolls out the ring and gets the upper hand on Ty, and he gets the advantage on Ty after Ty goes for a suicide dive, but Shinsuke throws a rope in his face. So yeah, like, that leads to basically Nakamura controlling the match for a little while. And another thing about Nakamura's style that I like is that it is the same wrestling style as he was a face, but instead of being like having to change up the style to be less exciting or anything, it's basically the same style, except his emotion, like, on his face is a lot different, and his body movement's different. It's not the same as when he was a face, but it's still kind of the same moves, if you get what I'm saying. It's like one example is Brian Alvarez and Vinny on like the Brian and Vinny show. One week they were reviewing old WCW, and they were talking about Ric Flair's style of matches, how they're basically just the same matches, like how Ric Flair takes like bumps and stuff, except just how Ric Flair shows through his emotion. Like, if he's supposed to be the face and he's getting beaten up, it's like he tries to be so sympathetic, but if he's a heel, he's just goofy, and it's like, you're happy to see him get beaten up. That's kind of how I see it with Shinsuke too, and I think it's awesome when guys are able to do that. So next, you see that Nakamura is trying to keep Ty down for the 10 count. Every time Ty gets down, he goes like 1, 2, 3, and he keeps doing this over and over, and Ty keeps getting up. And eventually there's a spot where he gets to 9, Ty is standing up, and when he's on the ropes and he goes like 10, I was like, oh, okay, that was a good little thing. And then Ty just like, come on. I was like, oh, yeah, that was good. And then Ty, he starts to make a little bit of a comeback, but then Nakamura comes back with a Kinshasa and wins. Ricky, just keep jumping. Nakamura comes back, Kinshasa, wins the match. And overall, I think the match just accomplished its purpose of making Nakamura look strong, going into Money in the Bank, and, you know, getting Ty some TV time. I hope that Ty, they do something with him, because I'm like, he's a talented guy. In NXT, he was really good. I think he should have won the title, like, before coming to Maine, because, I mean, he got called up too early, I think. He needed to complete that goal. And after the bell, Ty gets hit with another Kinshasa to the back of his head, leading to Nakamura finally getting him the 10 count. So, yeah, Nakamura establishes that he's great. And AJ Styles backstage interview, and he talks about what just happened in that match, about Shinsuke's attack. And he says that Shinsuke Nakamura has snapped and is really dangerous, which, duh. Shinsuke is just, yeah, he's a psychopath right now. AJ says he's a WWE champion because he's smarter in his training and he fights harder than anybody on the roster. And every fight he's been in has been the opponent underestimating how good he is. Yeah, I think AJ had a really good promo here. Like, you know, I have to say AJ, he's great in the ring, he's great on the mic. He's just all around great. I'm happy he's WWE champion. And whatever happens at Money in the Bank, whether he keeps the title or Nakamura finally wins it, I know that the WWE Championship will be in good hands either way. You know, seeing heel Nakamura would be awesome as champion, and AJ as champion is just already great. So, watching something that's already good. All right. So next we see Rusev and Lana. They're, you know, getting ready for a dance off. I mean, you just saw you see Rusev in the back doing, like, you know, the whips, the nays, and the dabs, and I was just like, that was funny. But yeah, I was nervous about this. I was like, no, not a dance off. But Rusev and Aiden, they're great when they come out. Like Aiden says, like, Money in the Bank is gonna be a happy Rusev day, and then he says, but also Rusev gets the mic and he's like, Lana is the best. Lana is the best. I like Rusev and Lana. They're the best. Like, they're awesome. The three of them, Rusev, Lana, and Aiden, I hope that this group stays together for a while. Like, I don't think you should change it because it's so over. It's so funny. It's so awesome. You shouldn't change this. So, like, the Usos, they come out to support Naomi because Naomi's the other competitor, if I didn't mention that. It's Lana and Naomi dance off. So, the Usos, they come out with Naomi to support her because, you know, one of them's her husband, so he has to do that. And the fans, I guess, are the judges, they say. And so the dance-off starts. Lana's dancing. It's like cringy and weird. And like Naomi, she's a good dancer. I mean, she used to be a cheerleader for the Orlando Magic, as they mentioned. So, I mean, she should be. But I'm like, why is this on a wrestling show? I'm here to watch some wrestling. I'm not here to watch two girls dance. And, well, Lana, she hits a net breaker on Naomi when they start to do a dance move. Like, they grab hands and they're like doing the dun dun dun, you know, stuff like that. It's kind of weird dance, but like I thought that like she was gonna hold on to her hand and hit her with a rainmaker, which I thought would have been awesome. Like, if Lana hit a rainmaker, I think Lana would be my favorite female wrestler of all time. but no Rainmaker. So all right, Lana, sorry, you're still on the I don't really know what to think right now list. And then chaos breaks out. Everybody starts beating up each other. Rusev gets in a fight. Aiden's fighting. They're all just fighting each other, and it gets crazy. Lana slaps, I think Jimmy is her husband. So, yeah, she slaps him. And that's the end of the segment, which is like, well, all right then. So, nothing really going on. Like, honestly, probably more enjoyable than that stupid barbecue. But I mean, I don't know. I still want a bow dog from that though. So next, before we go to commercial break, we see the New Day. They got their they're all getting hyped up for their match, and Mr. Bootiesworth comes with a big plate of pancakes and stuff. And then we cut over to the bar in the Miz's locker room, and the bar is throwing pancakes at the Miz, and Miz is just karate chopping them in half, and it's just like, he's training to plate up the pancakes. I'm like, this is silly, so silly, but I loved it. That's funny. Okay, match 2 is the New Day versus the Miz in the bar, which, oh man, this match was pretty good for a SmackDown 6-man tag match. I'm like, this match is awesome because all 6 of these guys are great. It starts with Big E and the New Day doing some hip gyrations and stuff, and the Miz in the bar deciding who's going to go in. Cesaro starts out. New Day, they start out strong. They start getting the upper hand, and Miz in the bar, they cheat by beating up all the members of the New Day basically on the outside. So just really killing them. One thing about this match I think brings it down is the announcers just continuing to talk about New Day and who's going to be the member, who's going to be in the match, which I was like getting tired of hearing that over and over again, because Byron's like, no, it's going to be Big E. That's what my sources say. Phillips is like, no, my sources say Kofi. Corey's like, oh, no, mine say Xavier. It's like, they just kept mentioning it through the entire match, which I'm like, okay, I get it. You're trying to be funny, but like, come on. It's like we heard that like 3 times before like the midway point of the match, and it kept going and it kept going. He just mentioned it so much during this match, I was like tired of it. So Cesaro, he misses a flying European uppercut, and he flies over the top rope, which I was like, that was a scary looking bump right there. And Big E, he gets taken out by all 3 guys. They all throw him into the barricade. So it kind of turns into a handicap situation with Kofi, where he's getting beaten up, but he keeps fighting back. And Xavier finally gets into the match, and there's just awesome offense by Xavier Woods. Like, for example, like you have one spot I remember was Xavier. He kicks Sheamus into the corner. I think it was Sheamus. Like, he's kicked into the corner. He jumps off of him, jumps over the top rope, and lands on, I think it's Cesaro or The Miz. I forgot who's in there. I might be wrong, sorry. But, yeah, I thought that was an awesome spot right there. I was like, oh, holy crap, that was so cool. But, yeah, Miz distracts and then gets taken out by Kofi, but then Cesaro takes out Kofi, and it's just like, everybody's taking out each other. There's kind of some chaos everywhere. It's just a crazy match. Sheamus and Cesaro go for a really cool tag move for a near fall. And then the New Day responds with one of their own. It's kind of like you're knocking into a backbreaker, which I was like, that looks painful. Miz, he sneaks in a tag and goes for that DDT on Big E and gets another near fall. And next thing you know, just everybody's beating up each other. Kofi, he dives over the top, and then Sheamus and Cesaro catch him and throw him into the barricade. But here, well, actually, no, it was Xavier, I'm sorry. And then Kofi, he jumps on the top rope, and then he jumps on the on the turnbuckle. Well, he's on the turnbuckle, and he jumps on the post, jumps onto Sheamus, and Cesaro just takes out both of them. It was like, man, what a crazy spot there. I'm like, this is awesome. This is amazing. And big ending hits for the win, and I thought this was an amazing 6-man tag match for SmackDown, you know? Like, it was a lot of fun, and, you know, I hope that these guys, they continue a really awesome feud. I would personally like to see, like, you know, like this feud kind of go on. Maybe, like, one of these guys wins a title, like a singles title. Like, I would like to see maybe one of them hold the singles title, and, like, you know, Miz wants it, and, like, he has the Bar there to back him up because the Bar hates the New Day, and it's just wars going on for titles and stuff. It'd be fun, I think. After this, we get a Good Brothers promo from Luke and Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson is talking about his hot Asian wife and how she loves his abs. Gallows is just like, yeah, man, he's got the best abs out there. Like, they got some really good physiques, I gotta say. I saw a picture of them on Twitter. I was like, wow, damn, they're built. And they're about to say, yeah, you know, we had a couple brewskis with the Usos after our match, and they talked about our wars. The war with Bludgeon Brothers, and they're about to call them nerds, but Bludgeon Brothers interrupt them and basically say that they're going to turn him into liquid. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be a violent match. And, yeah, you know, one thing about the Bludgeon Brothers I always find funny is, a little bit to brag, but the gym I go to, one of the people who actually shows up there is Eric Rowan, because he's actually from Minnesota, and I'm like, and he lives, like, the next town over. So he goes to the same gym that I do, because I go to the next town over, and I'm like, it's so weird when you go to the gym and you look over and you see, like, one of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions just hanging out and working out. It's like, wow. Like, he's a nice guy too. I talked to him a little bit. He's a cool guy. Maybe get an interview with him on this channel. Doubt it, but you never know. Okay. Yeah, Bludgeon Brothers are basically some horror movie villains, and they're scary, so yeah, let's hope their match with the Good Brothers is actually pretty good, you know? Because I know Gallows and Anderson can put on good matches. Bludgeon Brothers, they're both big athletic guys. Let's see what can happen, you know? Gallows get in the ring with one of them, you know, that'd be two big athletic men just fighting each other. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Next, we get Asuka versus Mandy Rose. Carmella comes out for commentary in this match. And, you know, Carmella on commentary, it's like, she can get a little annoying sometimes if you have too much of her. And Corey, he's just, you know, he's a good announcer, but, like, I don't know, and he's just doing so much, trying to do all this different heel stuff, it sometimes just gets a little too much for me. And I think, like, he needs to just, you know, tone it down a little bit. It's kind of gets a little ridiculous at certain points. While Asuka's coming down the ring, Sonya Deville comes up from behind and attacks her. And then Asuka gets in the ring, even though she's got up, and, you know, she got beaten up. She gets in, gets beaten up some more by Mandy Rose. She gets the upper hand. Asuka, she fights back after a commercial break where Mandy had control. And her kicks, I'm like, wow, man, those look painful. I don't want to take that. That would just hurt. There was a beautiful drop kick off the top rope by Asuka that I thought was pretty awesome. And Asuka puts Rose in the Asuka lock for the win. That was basically the match. And I thought it was good, and it made Asuka look strong, you know, because Asuka, she needs to look strong, because, you know, you had her lose to Charlotte, you had her like, you know, lose on her first week on SmackDown. You're just having her lose so much. I think that she needs to win more, because Asuka needs to be a badass. If you want her to be like one of your top women, she can't just keep losing. Like, I get it. Like, you know, it's exciting that, we can finally beat Asuka a bit. But, you know, now you're kind of hurting her a little bit, because it's just been so much. my dog wants to come up again. Here, Rick. I'm so sorry, guys. He's such a drama queen, my dog. All right. Carmella comes in to mock Asuka, you know, to hold up the title and, you know, do that like world famous where you do the, oh yeah, like I got the title, it's right in between us. One of us could win this, you know, for the promo video or whatever. But the whole crowd, they were probably expecting like people to be like, oh, this is gonna be good. But all I saw was just everybody sitting there like, it was just nothing, no reaction. I was like, that's the worst. No reaction. I'm like, is Bobby Lashley's sisters in the ring again? Why is nobody reacting? I'm just guessing nobody's excited for this match like WWE thinks they're going to be. Because, I mean, like, Asuka's a good worker. But Carmella, I don't think is really that great. And the thought of her maybe even beating Asuka, if Asuka doesn't win this, I'm really nervous about how she's going to be on SmackDown, you know. After this, Becky and Charlotte are backstage. They're both talking about how they're going to win Money in the Bank. And Charlotte teases, you know, like, oh yeah, like it's going to be another WrestleMania rematch. It's going to be awesome when Asuka beats Carmella. And Paige, she comes in the frame and she's like, yeah, I love your intensity, it's awesome, and blah 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 blah, stuff like that. And really confusing. It was really strange. It was just a really strange thing. I think I was really confused by Paige there. I was like, she's like, oh, it's tea time, and I'm like, maybe this is something I missed, or like when I had a little break from wrestling, you know, or whatever, I think a couple years ago. So I don't know, maybe it's something like that. Cien Almas is backstage before the main event, and Sin Cara, he gets a hug from him, and Sin Cara's like, hey, how you doing? Like, you know, referencing their time back in Mexico. You know, they knew each other back then. And Zelina Vega says that Sin Cara is a nobody and doesn't deserve to be in the presence of Andrade Cien Almas. And it's like, yo, and like, he's like, are you serious, Almas? You're gonna let her do this to me? Like, you know me, bro. And he's just like, get out of here, I don't want you. So I'm guessing that's going to be the match next week, which I hope is good. I hope it's a good match. You know, maybe you'll finally get some a good performance out of Almas. You know, like, not to say that those last two weren't great. It's just that, you know, they're just squash matches. Hopefully this is more of a match. Now it's main event time, and we got Big Cass versus Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe, which I think might be best match of this night, you know, probably best match on the main roster this week. Daniel Bryan, what I noticed, like, he comes out, just everybody loves him. Like, even I love him. I bought his new shirt. I love Daniel Bryan. He's great. He's one of the best wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots, in my opinion. And no matter where he goes, he's always just over like crazy. Everybody's going nuts for Daniel Bryan. They wanted him to win so bad. And match starts. Daniel goes after Cass first, obviously. Joe joins in the assault with Daniel and starts beating up Big Cass. And it was great. Like, yes, that's awesome. Just beat the crap out of this guy. Yeah, you know, I just loved it. Cass is getting destroyed, and he rolls out. Joe and Daniel start having a back and forth fight. Joe, he starts to take control, but then Daniel, he goes for that comeback where he just does the, you know, he gets thrown to the turnbuckle, but he jumps over and does a pack flip, but he kind of botched it a little bit. I guess his footing was a little off, and like, I was like, oh, please don't fall, don't break your neck there, Daniel. But no, he was fine. He just did it. It was a little botchy there. Joe and Cass, they start fighting on the outside later in the match, and Daniel Bryan, he does a big jump around to the both of them, which was awesome. Joe and Cass are fighting in the ring after the commercial break they had. Joe, he gets a near fall on Bryan. Daniel, he tries to work on Cass's knee, and Cass decides, let's work his head. Like, he gets the punch, and then Daniel's like a little dazed and stuff, which I'm like, I love and hate Daniel Bryan selling his head, because it's like, Daniel Bryan does a good job, but I mean, I'm like, well, please tell me he's selling. I'm just nervous. Yeah, I think Cass is trying to be as careful as possible with Daniel, and when throwing him around and stuff. I'm like, so that's good. Like, yeah, Cass, I mean, I don't know, it's just he's fine. Joe, he's sitting up on the top turnbuckle about to hit Cass from the top, and out of nowhere, like, just Daniel Bryan comes up and drop kicks him. I'm like, holy crap, that was awesome. He jumped to the top rope, hit Samoa Joe square in the chest, and knocked Joe out. And next thing you know, it leads to a Hurricane Rana from Daniel Bryan, flipping Joe off the top rope. And Cass, after some more moves, Cass cuts Daniel Bryan off for the near fall. And no, what happens is Daniel, he goes for the corner drop kick. Cass comes in, he kicks him in the face. Daniel does a flip. Cass goes for the pin and near fall. Cass, he gets the upper hand going into the second commercial, which I was like, wow, this match is getting a lot of time, which I'm happy about. When they come back, they're all fighting. There's an Empire elbow by Cass onto Joe, but Daniel breaks it up at 1, which I'm like, well, I kind of heard Cass move there. I mean, you didn't get that near fall there, Daniel, but whatever, little timing issue. East River Crossing for a near fall on Bryan. Yes, kicks onto both men, and leads to a near fall on Cass. And Daniel, he tries to lock Cass into a knee bar, but Joe, he gets him in the coquina clutch, and but then Daniel reverses that into a pin, and it's just like crazy amount of moves at one move out to the other. There's a yes lock on Big Cass, but Joe pulls Daniel Bryan off while he's on the outside, pulls him right under the ropes, so he gets him off of that yes lock. And Daniel, he beats up Joe on the outside, gets back in, he hits the knee plus on Cass, and as he's just about to go for the pin, Joe grabs Daniel from behind, puts him in the coquina clutch, and makes him pass out. And Joe is your winner. And yes, overall, it was an awesome match. But, a little botchy here and there, and you know what, it's a good match. The Joe and Daniel parts were awesome, but Cass. Here's my thing about Big Cass. I think he's improved on the microphone and a little bit in the ring, but he's not perfect yet. I don't think Cass is close to perfect. He has a couple of years to get better. He will get better. I know this. He's not a bad wrestler. It's just that he has to work heel, and he has to do this a lot less, exciting style. He's a big man. It's just he can't, really do as much, in the ring currently. The Daniel Bryan match with him, I thought was probably my worst WWE match so far this year. At least on pay-per-view. I mean, that was the worst match at Backlash, I think. That one disappointed me. I was hoping to see Big Cass, this big improvement, and working with Daniel Bryan, but then he doesn't do anything with him, and it's just he hits him with the move, taunts, hits him with the move, taunts. I don't like that with Cass's style. Is that he always does taunts. I want to see more than just, I hit you with a move. Yeah. That's not exciting. I want to see something more. Ugh. So, anyways, Cass, he attacks Daniel Bryan after the match with a big boot, which I'm probably guessing will set up another match at Money in the Bank. Hopefully this one is a lot better than the one at Backlash, but I don't know. I feel like that might have been them putting their all into that Backlash match, or hell, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just like it was a bad night for them and it just didn't work out, and maybe this time they'll actually have a good match, or a decent one at least. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. We'll have to see. And show closes, and that's it. Big Cat, Samoa Joe's in the Money in the Bank. Big Cat stands tall, which I'm happy about. Samoa Joe going to the Money in the Bank. I really think it's smart for him to go in. He's got him and Braun being these destructive guys. And you got one of the New Day coming in. That's gonna be awesome. I probably guess it'll be Kofi or Xavier, because you already got your two big destructive guys. So get a big high flyer guy in there. You got Bobby Roode, will be fun in there. You got Kevin Owens, who takes some amazing bumps. You got Finn Balor. You got just who else? I can't think right now of the guys in the match. But no, it's gonna be a good match. I bet it's gonna be awesome. I am so excited to see what happens. Ricky, silly dog, makes a lot of noise, but whatever. I love him. So yeah, I really think it's smart to put Joe in instead of Daniel. I know a lot of people want Daniel Bryan in. I remember when it was him and Rusev, and that ended in the Rusev winning, and people were mad. They thought Daniel Bryan was buried, which I was like, that's ridiculous. He's not buried right now, okay? Don't say he's buried. I thought it would have been fine if Daniel Bryan didn't get another opportunity, because it's I don't want to see Daniel Bryan in a Money in the Bank match right now. We don't know how his head is, honestly. Sure, he has all these tests done and all this stuff, and WWE cleared him finally. All these doctors cleared him, okay. But you get one bad match, and it could be over. You never know. My dog. You never know what's gonna happen. Get down. Alright, fine. Here. I'm so sorry, guys. The dog is just acting so weird tonight. We have a storm coming, so he's just acting so strange. I wish he wasn't acting so strange tonight, but like I said, got a storm outside. He's just nervous. So, yeah, Joe winning, I think it's the best move, because I think Joe will be great in that match. But, yeah, people who want Daniel Bryan, it's no, we shouldn't have him in there yet. Honestly, he's great, but I don't want him to be fighting in this match, because a ladder match is so dangerous. The one at the Greatest Royal Rumble is probably the safest ladder match I've ever seen, and even then, Finn Balor got so messed up in that match. I was like, ugh, it was just hard to watch. And if you put Daniel Bryan in there, that would be so dangerous. I would probably not watch. I'd probably just be like, all right, I'm not watching this match. I don't want to see Daniel Bryan get himself hurt. He's got the kid. He's got a kid now. He's got a beautiful wife. Think about that first. I don't want him to hurt himself in a Money in the Bank match for my entertainment. I just want to be entertained in a Money in the Bank match. And I think that the card we have, the guys we have in there, are going to be put on an amazing Money in the Bank. I am really excited for it, and I hope Samoa Joe wins, because he should. He's awesome, and I'd love to see him lurking around with that briefcase, threatening AJ or Shinsuke or whoever's the champion, being like, I can cash in anytime and choke you out and take your title from you. I would love that. So yeah, overall, great show. A lot better than Raw, I'd say. SmackDown did a lot better this week than Raw, last week and the week before. Even though I thought Raw wasn't that bad, still, there's people who probably think it was one of the worst Raws, but I'm I don't know, the one last week I thought was a lot worse. But yeah, this week's SmackDown I thought was pretty good. A couple segments, with Paige, I thought were bad, and, there's a little bit of confusing stuff. The Paige and Absolution stuff I find to be, it's it's okay, but like it just seems to be the same stuff every week and complaining and blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right, look, I get it. They're not getting along. We don't need another big long promo like that. But yeah, overall the matches were good. Some of them were better than others, but the tag match and the main event were pretty darn awesome. And I'd say if you haven't watched those yet, if you have SmackDown recorded or you got Hulu, I recommend watching those matches, and also that Samoa Joe promo at the beginning, because that was awesome. So yeah, that's the end of the show today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you probably tomorrow with an NXT review, and yeah, maybe and probably also 205 Live. I'll probably do those two shows together. Haven't got the schedule out perfectly yet, but we're working on it. Thanks, guys. Have a good night or day or whatever time it is you're watching this.